Good to go?
Yep.
Let's do it, brother. All right. Thank you, Marissa, for joining me. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
thanks for having me, Chris.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. We're going to talk about some things like inbound marketing today. Is that right? Do I have that correct?
And how about a what?
Some inbound marketing.
Oh, you said inbound marketing. Sure do. I know about that.
No thing or two about that. Oh my God.
I've been around the bend a few times and through all these corn mazes.
I done got my inbound certificate. I know how things work.
All right, I'm
Oh
here.
man,
Let's get into it.
my it's hard to laugh sometimes with this hernia surgery. I like I feel like
Okay.
my abs are gonna blow out.
I literally couldn't be any type of sympathetic towards you. So
Yeah, that's true. You don't have very many emotions or any sympathetic bone in your body. Wouldn't expect it from
sympathy doesn't come in bone form.
you.
You know
I
what they
heard
say.
I heard that.
You
I heard that from a doctor when I went to doctor school.
went to
Uh,
doctor school?
I went to doctor
Pick your
school.
eye out.
Yeah, they kicked me out. That's for sure. All right, you want to talk about inbound marketing or what?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so thank you everybody for tuning into this. But
And
Marissa, thanks
apologies.
for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, all right, so what we wanted to do with this episode is basically Marissa has been in inbound marketing and marketing, doing this stuff for a long time, and she's pretty well versed in it. Yeah, I know you say you haven't, but you have been. You know more about this stuff than anybody else that I know. And you've helped me do some campaigns with some of my old companies that I was at and helped me set up a lot of workflows and automations and things like that. Those were bigger companies, many people, but I do see the value of inbound marketing and I want to be able to apply this to my business. So I'm just starting this out. And rather than growing the business and figuring out how to do this when it gets bigger, I would prefer to try to figure out how to do this now. Um, and so, what we plan on doing is taking one of the aspects of my business, the end-to-end podcast production services, and talk through what it's like to build an inbound marketing campaign for that. So, Marissa, if you can just give everybody a quick rundown of who you are, what you do now, and then just some of the past experiences that you have running inbound marketing and doing all these things.
Um, I'm Marissa Himbele. I'm unfortunately a longtime friend of Chris, also Sagittarius, and I have been in marketing, right out of college, and I've got to work with like a bunch of industries when it comes to inbound marketing. I've got to see more of like the old school traditional type of marketing, marketing for shows and conferences. So um, I've had my fair share of marketing experience. Chris thinks I'm ancient, but like I'm just a year older than him.
Ancient.
So yeah.
Yeah, you've been around a long time. I remember what's his name? Aristotle. Did you go to school with him?
I wasn't in that time. No way, no how. But you know Gandhi?
Yeah, I do.
I know Gandhi.
Shit. Good for you. So
Um,
you got like 47 years of inbound marketing experience. Um,
in dog years, yes.
yeah, pretty.
How much is that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's like
That's pretty
I think that's almost like
accurate.
7 years. So yeah, it's pretty much
Yeah.
basically in dog years you have that many. But
Yeah.
all right, so
Oh yeah, wow.
so let's dive into this. So if you can you give everybody a quick rundown of really like what inbound marketing is, and then I think we should lay out the steps of like how you build this out, and then let's just kind of dive into it and get started. We'll kind of workshop it. If it ends up that it's going to take too long, we'll fucking cut it and we'll do another episode. But Can you give
Yeah,
everybody a
because people
rundown
are
on?
gonna be really wanting to hear part two.
They're gonna want to hit. You're gonna want to hit part two. It's
You're
gonna be
really gonna
huge,
want to
South
hear part
Florida.
two. Grab your meatballs, grab your sauce. Let's talk marketing. I can only refer to like sauce and meatballs with you.
Well, go ahead. Get started. Talk about marketing.
Yeah, sure, why not? So inbound marketing is just essentially digital marketing. It's establishing your online presence on the internet. Um, Everyone's favorite and worst thing, the internet. But it's basically just making a name for yourself online. It's attracting your audiences to come to your website, not just for you to sell to, but for them to find resources from you, for them to educate themselves, for them to gain their trust with you. So then in turn, they become a lead on their own time, instead of the traditional cold calling type of sales. So if you're a small business and you needed like payroll stuff, you would look for like payroll online, and a bunch of websites would come up, and then that person would scan the internet to find what's the most suitable payroll software for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they determine from there. They'd fill out a form, they'd call, they'd email, and then you'd essentially just sit back and watch. It's what they call, like, your website is your 24/7 salesperson, right? It's your online storefront. So
Yeah.
having that and having enough information and enough resources and kind of enough, I guess, little spider legs to, this is like a vague analogy, but like spider legs to go into social media and then into other, maybe you work with associations, so on association websites and things like that, just like referrals. Out of context here, but
Sure.
yeah, essentially you want to get someone to find out who you are and to convert a lead.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So it's all right. So it's the kind of image of inbound marketing that I have is it's like a funnel, and basically, I as a salesperson now, when I was doing sales too, it's almost like an extension of sales in a way, because it's that far reaching tentacle, like the information that's,
Tentacles, yeah.
yeah, it's the far reaching tentacles that
Tentacles.
that people can really find your stuff. And like, I know we used white papers. I know that like blogs have helped with that in the past, but just things that, and I'm even playing around with some like instructional videos and stuff like that that I'm going to
Cool.
try out.
Yeah.
But yeah, trying to keep in line with that, educate people on stuff, and then with the hope that that ends up coming back to me in some way, whether they check out my LinkedIn or go to my website. Um,
Hmm.
these things are still pretty early on for me right now, but the primary thing that I'm trying to get from this is for people to be able to get something of value out of the stuff that I put out and then follow up with me right now as directly as possible. But then as the business grows, whatever channels that, you know, I want to do. Um, yeah. So that's why I think this is actually pretty valuable. But part of what we wanted to do with this episode for everybody is basically run this pretty similarly to how it would be as if I hired Marissa to help me do this, and really build out a inbound marketing campaign for a section of my business. So part of what we're going to be working with today is, with this company, one of the main services that I'm offering is like end to end podcast production. So, Marissa, like, for us to start off and kind of build something like this out, what do you need to know from me in order for us to get started with this?
Okay, so step number one, let's explain end-to-end podcast production so we know exactly what the service is you're selling.
Okay. So basically, the main gist of it is I want people to be able to come into the studio, sit down, talk, and leave. And after that, I basically take care of everything else. The professional audio, the video editing. I have the pro audio and the video where I distribute it. So with the audio, I distribute it so it goes out to, Apple, Spotify, all those places. With the video, I take it, I upload it to YouTube, wherever they want to put it. I pull out snippets from that podcast episode with the text across it so that way they can take that, share it on social media. Um, really, and plus I provide this a professional space to do it, and they don't have to buy all this equipment and learn how to use it. So really, it's giving them a final product.
Yeah. So two things here. One, it sounds like you built this company just so you can talk to people and make friends. Two,
Um, I plead the fifth.
are you just okay? Two, now that we know your service, we before we do anything, right? So say even before we had you built your brand, right? And there's no right or wrong way to do these steps. I just think what I do is great. Um, I would start with your defining your audience. So let's figure out a persona for end to end podcast production. So that
Okay.
means figuring out who is your ideal audience type for this service.
Okay.
So
Um,
so let's just go down the line. Let me ask you a bunch of questions here.
sure. Okay.
Okay, one. Where are you providing the service geographically?
Geographically, for the most part, I think it's going to be Bonita Springs, Florida.
Okay. Okay. So then from there, right? We're not going to do this now, but we can determine how many companies are in Bonita Springs.
Okay.
So then we can narrow down your audience. Maybe there's a couple thousand companies, right? There's like a whole audience for you just in the city alone. Um, Two, are you thinking it's more B2B or B2C? So like, are you attracting businesses? Are you attracting consumers? Maybe both.
I think that it's going to be B2B, and I think that the primary people that would be interested in doing something like at this production quality and the price point, it would have to be not have to, but most likely be justified by a business expense as something that could lead to them getting, sales,
Yeah.
things like that.
Okay. Yeah. And we don't have to cut out consumers completely. Consumers
Exactly.
can be another buyer persona essentially.
Yep.
Maybe you got like a famous TikTok star that wants their own podcast.
You want to do a podcast about you dance? That's fine. Come on, let's
Yeah,
talk
you
about it.
dance. You dance in your outfits on TikTok. I got a lot of issues with that. We can save it for another podcast. All right, so cool. Bonita Springs com- companies. You would say established companies, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely. Okay. So then you can get into, how profitable are these companies? Are they making over 1 million? But they could, in turn, it, it gets like Inception. Like if you really wanted to go like deep,
Okay.
you could be like, okay, XYZ company makes 20 million a year, and that means their marketing budget's probably like
Oh,
three
okay.
hundred
I see.
thousand. You
I
know what
see
I'm
what you're
saying?
saying. As you start to be
So
able to
okay, that
determine the revenue, you can start to kind of make assumptions on what their budget would be for
exactly,
something like this.
exactly.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Um,
So I think for the sake of this and where I'm at in this process, I don't want to go super inception level deep on this because I know with my
okay, but
resources,
that's really cool.
I know, but I
But now,
can't.
but now you know.
Yeah,
Now you know.
now I
The
know.
more you know. All right. Let's just keep running through this.
Cool.
Okay. Now let's think about who would your what job titles would you target with for these businesses? Decision makers. Maybe you'd be more in like the marketing department for people who wanted to start it.
I was I'm thinking either the like the owner or the CEO of the company
Okay.
um might be the person that would want to be the face of this. Um Also, another title that I'm thinking of would be maybe a director of sales, maybe more so than marketing, because really what I'm seeing is that I think that this can be a very useful sales tool. So in term, well, it is a marketing piece, right? But part of like the LinkedIn stuff is you see a lot of businesses just like post things and then there's like 4 likes,
Yeah.
versus when an actual like sales rep or an individual posts something, they, I mean, you're seeing people that get tens, hundreds, thousands of likes and things like that. Unless you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you're probably not
Yeah.
getting tons of likes on your business page.
Yeah.
So I think, sorry, that's like a roundabout answer, but I think CEOs or the owners, or maybe like a director of sales and possibly director of marketing.
Okay, that's not bad. I like that. You could be dead wrong, but that's the fun part
Sure.
about it is seeing if you're wrong, and then you have to adjust.
Yeah. Then
Um,
if I'm dead wrong, then it'll just be consistent with every
yeah,
single day so far that I've been doing this. So yeah, it's
yeah.
perfect.
I mean, also, also not to jump the gun, but um, when it comes to inbound marketing, content's huge. Content's,
Hmm.
about everything. So if someone's getting 4 likes on their Facebook post and they're posting an article or they're posting something just completely uninteresting, video and sound are kind of the most engaging material to post now.
Yeah.
So that's a benefit for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. All right, cool. So let's talk about challenges. So now you have these CEOs, you have these sales directors. What are their challenges, their day-to-day challenges that maybe stop them from doing their own podcast?
Maybe I think it might be a couple things that I'm seeing so far. So let's take the scenario where somebody knows about podcasting and wants to do it. That kind of person, the challenges that they would have would be more of, what equipment do I need to buy? Where can I find a professional space? If I buy this equipment, how do I even set it up? How would I use it? How do we edit? How much software do I have to buy? What does this equipment cost? And then once I could even figure out how to do this, like, where would I send it out to? How would I get it to like Apple and all the places that I listen to podcasts? How would people watch it? If I do this, how would I know how it's growing? Like, how would I promote it? Do things like that, and then also just on the personal front of like, what do I even talk about? What is the show format? Like, what should I do? Should I interview people? Would I get notes? So really, there's a bunch of fronts that it could be, but I guess the people that want to do a podcast, it would be technical challenges and then almost like surrounding confidence about what the show is and what it could be.
Hmm.
So I think that would be like one camp of people. That would be like the person that wants to do it. On the
Yeah.
other side, where it comes to sales or maybe a CEO or something like that, that maybe is unaware of podcasts, right? But maybe their primary thing that they're trying to do is, hey, we're trying to increase sales or we're trying to build brand awareness. And maybe they see that LinkedIn is a great way to do it, but everything that they've tried doesn't work. It's not getting the engagement. They can't get their salespeople to consistently create content and put original content out there. because that takes a lot of time, and they can't get buy-in from the team. So they're trying to find a new route to increasing brand awareness and increase revenue, but they may not have found the way to do that, and they might not even know that podcasts could be a good way to do that. So those were the two kind of
Yeah.
main camps, I think.
Okay. So basically, you have to educate and you have to sell.
Yeah, I guess in both cases, because the one
Yeah.
side that people want to do it, you got to educate them on all the inner workings of it, and
Yeah.
then the people that don't even know about it, you got to educate them on
Yeah.
the benefits, really.
What it can do for your company. Here's how it can grow.
Yeah.
Which would be an awesome case study in the future. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I guess that kind of ran into the question of how can you solve their problems by education and providing a podcast that will help them grow their company.
Yeah. So I guess, so when you say how do you solve their problems, do you mean like how does your solution solve their problems?
Yes, yeah, because I know
Okay.
you can't even solve your own problems personally.
That's very true. So this has been a good podcast. I think I'm going to hang it up now. I'm giving up my business because I can't even solve my own problems. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. No, but okay. So it's basically, where does your service plug in and solve that problem?
Yep, nailed
Got it.
it.
Okay. Um,
Cool.
yeah, I guess we pretty much touched on it.
Yeah, education and selling. You know, so when it comes down to it, it's not. Let me think about this. It's not. Here's what we do. It's here's how we can benefit you.
Here's how we can
And
benefit you.
yes, does that make sense? So we can. Cheine Productions can benefit you by helping you with end-to-end podcast production to help one, grow your business, two, establish yourself as an industry leader, and three, I don't know, make a cool podcast, get some cool mics and shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then,
Okay.
so it's that's part of like the messaging when it comes to like, okay, you know who. So all right, just to recap. Sorry, I got to talk through it a couple times, but
Yeah,
you
it takes a while.
you I'm sorry. You figure out what you're actually selling, who the audience is, and then like what their challenges are, and then how you could help solve that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've got that there. And then, so now you're talking about like actually, you figure all that stuff out. You figure the persona piece out, and then creating that messaging. You want to do it in a tone of, here's how we help you. Not here's what we do, but here's how we help you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So once that's done, right? Once you have your persona, and you can have 3 personas, you can have 6 personas, you can have 10 personas. It's all dependent on your business. You know, sometimes personas are built off the different industries that you service, or your own services or
Okay.
locations.
Okay.
You know, it's not really set in stone how many and what type of personas you need to have. It's up to you. It's who you want to market, right?
Sure.
Who's the most valuable audience type to you?
Sure. Okay. So
Yes. So once you have that, you're ready. You're kind of ready to get going. So a step before the building out an actual campaign, right? You need to figure out your messaging. You could do this post branding. You could do it prior to branding. I think it's a good, if you're a new company, I think establishing your audiences are is a great way to help build out your brand. But if you've already had a brand established, you can kind of bend it to your audience. So if you're talking now, you're talking to C-level and you're talking to directors of sales, right? you want to make sure that whatever content you're putting out, whatever resources you have, everything from a blog to a social post to an email to a website page or landing page, to get them to fill out a form or call you, is geared towards them. So
Okay.
that means you have to have the right written content, the right tone of voice, the right layout to get them to be able to retain that information.
Okay.
So, so let me ask you this: CEOs, directors of sales, how much time do they have in a day to look at other stuff other than their day-to-day work?
Almost none.
Exactly. So, laying out a page that clearly states in headers everything they need to know, they can skim, and they'd be like, "This is so easy. Now I know this." Lists are great to have on like a blog or a landing page, um, so they can retain the information. So they can be like, "All right, I need A, B, and C. I need to know what the next step is, and then go from there." So
Okay.
that's how you would build out your content and your messaging.
Okay. So, okay, I see what you're saying. So now that you've got this stuff in place, the next step is really to build out that content. But what you want to do as you're building out that content is keep that person in mind and then shape the content for them. So that way, when it gets delivered to them, it's much more likely to be interacted with, to be accepted, to be
Yes.
digested. Okay.
It's completely customized to your audience, to your persona.
Okay.
That way
So,
they can relate to you more.
okay. So let's take the CEO example or director of sales example in this case, right? Maybe let's I'm just going to throw that. We'll stick with the ones that maybe don't know the value of the podcast, because that
Hmm.
kind of would be almost like the furthest reach that I could do, right? If somebody already knows why they want to do a podcast, then it gets into the technical, and then maybe that sale is, let me teach you about all the technical shit so you can realize that you don't want to do any of this, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let
Let's start from square one.
yeah, so let's start with the people that are the furthest, that they don't even know about this. So part of what I'm thinking, and I started writing out some scripts for this, and are like Cheine Production quick tips videos that I want to put
Cool.
together and put out on LinkedIn. Maybe do like 3 of these a week as like individual posts. Here's where I'm thinking, but just we can kind of talk through it and figure out the specifics. But I want to put these out there of like, for that particular audience, do it where it's, here's how podcasts can be a sales tool for this specific thing. One might be like getting engagement. You know, what we're finding is that, individual people that post on LinkedIn with original and relevant content are getting way higher views than companies. And here's here's why. And then if you have a salesperson put this professional content, a snippet from a podcast, you'll get XYZ, and keep it at like
Hmm.
30 to 60 seconds, like
Yeah.
max. If I can keep it at
Yeah.
30
Exactly.
seconds, that would be perfect. But if I can, if I, that's what the goal
Dude,
is.
15's even good. Like people get like antsy after 15 seconds sometimes.
Yeah,
Depends on how engaging it is, really, but
sure. So if I was to create some content like that, right? Where let's just pick that piece of content for example. So, hey, here's what you can do. Here's what your the benefit that your sales reps can have if they have some original content to share XYZ. And I put that so all right, I'll take it back from LinkedIn for right now. I'm gonna do that, but well, let's fuck it. Let's go with LinkedIn. So if I put that on a LinkedIn, where does this come into play in terms of an inbound marketing campaign? Where does that sit in terms of that overall funnel? What does this mean? I don't. I'm part of my challenge is I feel like sometimes I'm just putting content out into the void, and it's
Yeah.
been helpful because people have reached out, but I kind of want to systematize it in a way. So what are some ways that I can look at it? What are some ways that I things that I can do to, make this part of a bigger
Track.
thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So there's tons of marketing CRMs and software out there that allow you to tie all your marketing efforts together. So I'm going to combine the next two steps
Okay.
of building out an inbound marketing plan. So now that you've established your brand, your audience, blah blah, blah, you want to send out a campaign, right? You build your website, you build a few landing pages, you build the content that's dedicated to your audiences, and then you want to push it out there into the online world. And you got to figure out, okay, what is the goal of this campaign? So for argument's sake, let's say the goal of this campaign is to increase leads for podcast production, right?
Yep.
So it's always nice to start at the foundation. Maybe right now you're averaging 3 leads a month. So you can set yourself up with a goal. I want to increase it by 15%
Okay.
per month, right? Something realistic, something not crazy. But just set yourself goals. So when you're, for the future, like when you're going back and analyzing and readjusting your marketing goals, you kind of can figure out like, okay, I need to change things around. That's later. So, okay, so now, you have your marketing goal established, you have your audience established. Now you determine what marketing outlets you want. So CEOs, directors of sales, yeah, they're always on LinkedIn. Sometimes they're even on Facebook too. Twitter. They read a lot, right? They're always
Yep.
they're always reading the internet. So, I mean, that's a generalization, but it isn't. So maybe you want to do some type of long form content or blogs. Like quick little blogs that are optimized for online, so you start coming up on Google and everything. And then basically you build out the content from there. So think of it as I guess it's the buyer's journey, right? So let's go off of that specific video on LinkedIn.
The one
You
that I'm
have a
the one
video.
that I'm talking about making.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, the other one we were talking about.
Shut up.
So you put that video out on LinkedIn, right? And it's an awareness step.
Hmm.
It's education. But now if they wanted to learn more about it, you provide a link to your website, so they can now go to your website from LinkedIn. And there maybe as it brings you to a landing page where from there you could depending on how far down like the funnel, I guess. Oh, I'm jumping everywhere, but
No, that's okay. I get what you're
because
saying.
there's yes. Okay, so let's say this. Let's start with the landing page, right? It's a landing page basically is a web page that gets you to convert from just a visitor to a website to a lead. So that means there's a conversion opportunity on the landing page, and that could be a form, that could be a click to email or a click to call. So those 3 count as conversions. So let's say, or do you have a question?
Yeah. So yeah, all right. So this kind of part of it, and maybe that one way that we can look at this is in like an iterative process, right? Because as starting out the business, I kind of have the capacity right now as myself to be able to interact directly with the people that want to interact with me, right? That somebody would want to reach
Mm-hmm.
out and talk to Cheine Productions about doing this. Right now, the company is not so big that I can't answer that call because I have other things and I need other people. Could would it be possible, and I know that the tracking wouldn't be as good, but to use these kinds of things, like can I basically view these posts on LinkedIn and this kind of stuff as like an inbound light? And then as I go out and I test it and I sample like who reaches out to me for this or who likes it or who comments, like then from there, then start implementing these like landing pages and places for people to go and put their info in. Is there like
Yeah.
a downside to that, or would that almost be more effective in the shorter term because I have the capacity?
It's hard to say. Like I would definitely do some manual tracking.
Okay.
Um, because okay, so going back to the CRM portion of it, if you were to have a marketing CRM attached to your website, you would be able to see if someone was coming from LinkedIn to your website. You would be able to see if someone filled out a form, what pages they went to, um, like constant contact. If they opened an email, if they clicked an email, if they unsubscribed, and then if you wanted to get serious, you can even do revenue attribution reports too. So basically, you could set it up with how many leads that came from social media or LinkedIn specifically turned into a customer, and how much revenue did that provide.
Okay.
Um, so if you were to do it on your own LinkedIn, I don't know. I mean, it can't hurt, but I would for sure try and like get any analytics you can have, because you want to realize where you're at. Maybe the view rate on your LinkedIn posts are super low, but your conversion rate's high, and you have a really niche audience that you're targeting. And your conversion rate would be someone emailing you or DMing you on LinkedIn or calling you or something.
Okay. Okay.
So I use old fashioned Excel to do that.
Well, I
You
I
know,
use I use HubSpot right now. I'm on like the free plan right now until I kind of have a reason to justify doing that
yeah.
initial base plan. But it's probably where I'm gonna end up going here shortly. Um, but
Can did you connect your LinkedIn account to HubSpot?
no, I didn't even know
Okay,
I
let's see if
could
you
do
can. And honestly, let's see if you can, because it's a personal LinkedIn.
that. Okay.
It's not a
All right.
business.
Well, I've got the business account too, but I'm not even using that so much. Part of what I want to do with this is use this as a kind of an excuse to post on my business LinkedIn as well. Like
Hmm.
put content out through there, just with it, as much shit as I'm doing on all other fronts. I don't see it as that valuable now. Um, I know it will be, but you know what I'm saying? Like the main focus is get revenue in the door in the shorter term, um,
Yeah.
but set that up for I guess a longer term success when I have like the downtime.
So maybe your marketing campaign right now is establishing yourself as a influencer, as an industry influencer,
Okay,
establishing your brand.
okay. So work on like the ground game of sales and everything like that.
Yeah.
So that way I'm in the I don't know how you'd say it, but like in this zone down here, it's bringing in the revenue, and then up here, it's letting people know and funneling it down into the sales zone. And that's going to be a slower trickle, but that will pay dividends over time.
Hmm. And
Okay.
I mean, you could switch things up as you go. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks, run it one type of way. And if you're not happy with the results, switch it up.
Okay.
That's the beauty about analytics. You can see what's working. Maybe your email marketing is total shit and no one's opening it, but
Yeah.
your blogs are through the roof, and your blogs are getting people to, click on a button to download a white paper or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's all going to be dependent on your audience, your company, your services.
Okay.
So what
So,
what might work for you might not work for someone else.
okay. All right. So the basic thing, just to kind of to kind of recap with this is I'm gonna work backwards, and I don't know if this will sound stupid, but I've got this campaign that I want to run, and I have the vision for right now is making these quick instructional videos about a couple different aspects of the industry. Maybe in this case, just for the sake of this sample thing, I'll stick with like a particular theme for the type of people I'm trying to reach. But if that's a CEO or a director of sales, something like that, somebody who's focused on revenue, I want to, in these videos, educate them, get them aware of what this can do, show how something like this could actually solve their problem, and then make like the yeah, that's really it. Show those kinds of people how something like this could solve their problem.
So it's awareness based. Is your goal still to get leads
Yeah,
for end to end podcast production? Okay, so
yeah,
you're gonna have to
for sure.
build a bridge to that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
so that's
Like you
where the
can't like
landing pages and the CRM come into play.
yeah, you got to see what's working.
Okay,
So
so
that's what if you're gonna post those videos, link the landing page to the written content or the copy of that post. Put it in the video. Do all the stuff the kids are doing these days.
the kids.
The kids,
Okay, so like if I was
they're
going to
like
do the,
link in bio, like that.
put my link, like and subscribe to this 30
Like
second
and subscribe.
video.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, just want to let you know you can find
Yes.
all my videos on my video page. Like and subscribe. So like if I was going to do that, just keeping it as light as possible in this first version, would you say like all right, what would you say? Would you say build a landing page on HubSpot or something like that? Not even something that has to be like my website, but almost like a contact form through like a HubSpot, and just have that link as part of the posts like, hey, if you're interested in learning more, click the link below or reach out to me directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Or make it sound cooler because you're establishing a brand.
Hey, follow the URL below or DM me. Slide
Hey,
into my
need more
DMs.
info? Lonely? Talk to me. That'd be a good one.
Lonely? Want to have your own podcast?
Need someone to talk to?
How about talking to yourself? The really nice
That's a
microphones.
good one. That's a good one.
All right. Well, I think this is pretty good. So if
Oh, you
you're
do.
well, actually, let's
Let's
scrap
do it
it.
all again.
Yeah. We'll go
Ninth
for
time's a charm.
go for version 5. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a good spot to leave this off because this made things a lot clearer because it kind of it made things clearer for me because this is like a real world example, and
Yeah.
plus this stuff is fluid, right? Like you said, you can go back and you
Yes.
can try it again, and part of what my hesitation with some of this stuff was before this specific conversation, number 4 or 5, about the same topic, was that I had to go and like build this mega thing. So maybe I just need to pare it down for now, build a landing page that this stuff can funnel back to. And either I'll get people reaching out to me directly, and then I could just, I guess, throw that into HubSpot, or build some sort of landing page and have people put their info in. And that way I can track the conversions that
Yeah.
way, see what it's
Build a
like.
landing page for your website. Throw a HubSpot form in it.
Yeah. Because I have contact form on my website, but it just sends me an email. So I'll probably
Yeah, and that's the idea of campaigns. Once you get bigger and bigger, you can build out specific forms for specific services.
yeah.
And then that leads to better segmentation. That leads to better niche marketing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's your overall a better life.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Better
sure.
yourself.
I'm
Don't be
trying to better
sorry. Be better.
myself. Be, make yourself better. Start a podcast.
Start a podcast. Read a
Get your
book,
business to
dude.
pay for it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, all right, cool. Well, Marissa, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. And then I think what we can do with this too is like, I'll go through, I'll implement some of this stuff, and then I'll let you know how wrong that you were about everything and how, just worthless this was. And then maybe we could
Yep.
do it again. And then next time I'll just berate you the whole time. And
I would love nothing more.
yeah, I know. I know. So
I really look forward to it. Put it on my calendar.
yeah, hey, send me a calendar invite. I really appreciate it.
The roast of Marissa. Lose all my jobs.
Yeah, not only did we have the worst performing podcast, she also lost her job and no one will hire her anymore.
No, well, would you hire me? Let's make a backup plan right now. I'll be your au pair.
No, I'm not hiring you
Why? You gonna feel
because
guilty? I'm a jack of all trades, man.
yeah, I can au pair, I can
You can au pair.
do lawns.
I can do lawns. I can do
You do
anything
pools.
after a YouTube video. That's what I can do.
That's actually true. Is honestly, I learned most things from
Uh,
YouTube
YouTube.
videos.
Yeah. And I didn't
I'm a
even
YouTuber.
realize it. My when my cousin was 12 years old, he YouTube how to do a Rubik's cube behind your back, and he did it.
Wow.
I never did that at 12. I couldn't even spell Rubik's at 12.
I can't do a Rubik's Cube. I have one
Me
in my
either.
house, I think.
I did the old school like PDF version of trying to figure out a Rubik's cube, and at one point I was able to make a flower.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I forgot. Don't ask me how now, but
Yeah, that was when you didn't have any friends and then you were like, "Oh, maybe this will get me some friends." And then you did it and it just didn't work at all. And here
no,
you
I
are
have like
still.
a substantial amount of friends, like way more than you. But it was a
That's
pandemic, my dude, and I was by myself. And
that's
I
not
mean,
true.
now sounds a good time to learn. Yes, it was. It was last year. I have the Rubik's cube.
I don't believe you. One, because you just lied. I well, actually I don't have very many friends, but neither do you. So I'm not that concerned about your like
I
high
have
number of friends.
I have tons of friends. I have tons of friends.
You have a lot of acquaintances and people that don't really like you but tolerate you.
Acquaintances.
Yeah.
You should see the list from my birthday. It's out of control, and they're all good friends.
Where was my fucking name on that list?
I wasn't gonna waste an invite on you because yeah, right, you would come up here in December.
That's true.
Actually, it's the day we're having the day after Thanksgiving, so
Well, I will have a baby to take care of, okay?
great excuse, Chris. Great excuse.
Last week she was the size of a
Oh, I'm. Let me guess. Let me guess. Let me guess.
what the fuck is it called?
Grapefruit,
No, she's way bigger than that.
mango,
No,
pineapple.
she way bigger than
Is
mango.
it? Is it compare? Are we comparing it to a fruit? A
Yeah, it's like
watermelon?
no, not a
No, not a
watermelon, but it's
watermelon.
like
A melon.
no, it's like
Cantaloupe.
some sort of like squash or something.
Butternut squash. A
Maybe.
cornucopia.
It looks like one of those cornucopia type shape things.
Where does the cornucopia come from?
Corn.
No, I've seen corn before. Does not cornucopia.
That ain't corn, brother.
That ain't corn.
You know, corn makes whiskey and rain makes corn. In case you didn't know.
Mm, learn something new every day.
That's right,
I'm going
brother.
to Tennessee. I'm going to have some moonshine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um You're going to Nashville or no?
Nope. Smoky Mountains.
That's going to be fucking awesome this time of year.
I hope so, and I hope I see a bear, preferably a black bear, because I heard they're a little less aggressive than
Yeah.
brown bears. And I want to see a bald eagle.
Did you know
I
that?
saw a hawk yesterday or 2 days ago. A hawk.
Really?
Yeah, it was flying real low.
We got hawks like all over by my community out there because I'm out there in
Really?
the swamp. But one time when I
In the
was up in
swamp.
Washington, like the
Yeah.
state of Washington, I went on a hike, and at the very beginning, I like walked through these trees and shit, and like I get out to this like lake. It's like, oh, like beautiful lake with these big mountains on the top. At that
Yeah.
very moment, bald eagle swoops down, catches the fish, flies off.
That's America
America,
right there. That's the
America.
definition of America. That's what I hope to see. But because I hope to see it, I probably will not see it.
Yeah.
I'll dream about it. I had a dream that I saw a bear.
Really?
Yep. Got way too close.
I had a dream about bear.
Little bear.
Oh, give the little bear a pet.
Oh, where's Mama Bear?
There she is. All right. Thanks for doing this. Where can people find you? Can they follow you on LinkedIn or
Yeah, you can find me on
Instagram? What do you
LinkedIn.
prefer?
See, here's the thing. I'm not like a personal content person myself. So but you could definitely find me on LinkedIn, Marissa Himbele. You can find me on TikTok at Rissy Kitty. And make sure if you're gonna do it, like every single video I post to make me go viral, because I'm sick of these Gen Z kids posting the same shit on TikTok when I create excellent original content and it gets nowhere.
I'm not on TikTok. I feel like I gotta get on TikTok. I just heard that they basically like steal all your information through like a back end route. So
That sounds right. I don't know, but also, like, what information are you putting on there that you're not putting on Instagram and Facebook that they don't already have
I
it?
put all my social security number on Instagram and Facebook.
You put your passwords on your about page.
Yeah, they Instagram and Facebook, they keep messaging me, asking me for my social security and my credit cards. And I keep getting these credit card scams, and these people tell me that they're not going to take my credit card information. They're not going to
I'm
do
3 million in debt.
I have 3 mil in my credit card account. My credit limit was only $3,600, and now I'm down $3 million. I don't know how them or PayPal let this happen to me.
Maybe you're up late night watching QVC.
I wasn't
Maybe
up.
it's you.
I wasn't up anywhere, and I was home the
Oh,
night
I
of.
need this.
I was at my
Oh,
house the night of the 27th, 12 p.m. 7 p.m.
on
to,
QVC.
to 10
Look
p.m.
at
I
this
was home.
bedazzled shower stool. It's so
Amazing.
nice.
Wow, that's fantastic. It's only
Make it nice.
$39.99.
3 payments of $39.99.
Shit, it's not as good of a deal as I thought.
You're still buying all the Now CDs. You're subscribed to all the Now CDs. They're the ones that have your information.
Now that's what I call a scam.
Ooh, that's the funniest thing you said all day. Maybe all week.
Hey, fuck you.
Wow, Christopher, you're funny.
All right. Well, thank you, Marissa. I really appreciate all the information. I'm going to go try to implement this into my own business, and maybe the
Yeah.
listeners at home, maybe you try to implement this in your own business as well. And
Yeah.
leave
You
us
got any questions? Reach out to me. Not you, Chris, because you're fucking annoying.
yeah, let us know if
Let's
you
wrap
got
this up.
any questions. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.